There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. One person responded. I go to a company sometimes where they force them to respond. It's so awkward because everyone just stares at you like, I think I'm supposed to say it. But welcome. My name's Taylor Stevenson. I am from NFP. We do your employee benefits. We're the advisor to the benefits and to your 401k plan. Today, if you've come to open enrollment before, you're probably used to Diana Williams. She had to leave. I'm sorry you're stuck with me. But I've come out to Multi-Tech a couple times. I'm actually in our wealth management division, and so I work with families and individuals to help make financial decisions, plan for retirement, and look at their overall benefits. Whenever I say that, people are like, why are you giving the open enrollment meeting then, right? That's what's going through your mind as you stare blankly at me. Why I'm here is because I want you to start thinking about open enrollment as a financial decision. You are making a financial choice when you sign up for benefits. How many of you are going to take your booklet once you leave here, say thanks so much for the presentation, throw it on your desk, and sign up for exactly what you signed up for last year? It's way more hands. People always do that. My own parents do that, and I've done this for them, okay? All I want you to do is keep an open mind as we go through open enrollment, as we talk about these things. I want you to leave here with a decision. When you sign up for your benefits plan, if someone asks you which plan you're choosing, you have an educated reason why you chose that plan. So I don't care if you stay in the same plan. I don't care if you switch plans. I don't care if you don't take insurance. What I care about is why you're doing it. And if I ask you, have a reason why you chose the plan you chose. So as we go through this, I want everyone to kind of think about what they've spent so far in 2019. What did you like about the plan you were on? What didn't you like? Think about, the medications you're on and the different services that you use in the medical plan, so that when we go to this and go through the different benefits, you can put your specific situation into what those specific things cost. You can say, okay, on plan 1, this is what my office visit would cost, or on plan 2, this is what my prescription would cost. It's a lot easier to look at benefits plans knowing what is my personal situation with this, rather than just hearing a bunch of numbers, how much is coinsurance, how much is copays. It all gets jumbled together. Think about it with your situation, your family situation in general, and then it'll be a lot easier to select which plan you want, okay? As we go through this, if you have questions, just throw them out. I'm happy to answer anything you have if you see it in the booklet. If I don't know the answer, I'll defer to Diana, and you can send her a bunch of emails tonight, okay? Rough crowd. Okay. Agenda for today. We're going to go over the benefits options that you have. We're going to look at the medical plan, the health savings account, dental review. You do have a new vision plan available to you. That really is the only new benefit. I know if you've been here for 5 years or more, you probably have seen a couple of different vision plans available, but it's important to understand how this plan works and decide if it's a benefit you want for you and your family. There's also new contribution increases to the HSA and FSA. So if you last year were on either plan or put money into either plan, you will have to actively choose that amount for 2020. So you will have to go in. That's the only thing you really have to do is new selection. You're going to have to type in whatever amount you want to save into either one of those plans. Okay? This is also the only time of year where you can add and drop dependents. So if you have children that are aging out of the health care, they're turning 27 or they're turning 26, they will get dropped from your plan when they turn 26. So the day they turn 26, they're going to be dropped from that plan. If you fall into that category, it might be a good idea to just talk to them about their options, where they're going to get health care, things like that. You can also add and drop a spouse if you'd like. If they now have coverage elsewhere, they should take that coverage. Or you can add them on if something's changed throughout 2019. Open enrollment goes from November 8th to the 18th. So you guys have about a week, 10 days to sign up for this. please do not wait until the 18th. Inevitably, there will be an issue with the internet or the software, whatever it may be. Try to enroll before that. Take it all in, understand what you're going to sign up for, and do it before that time frame. Okay? So what do I need to consider during open enrollment? This is the time of year where you can make this to the plan that you had for 2019. You can add or drop coverage. You can change your contributions to your flex spending accounts or to your health savings accounts. We'll kind of go into the differences between those. You can also get additional life insurance should you choose to do so. Disability is covered through multi-tech, so life insurance is really the only piece that you guys need to look into if you're trying to increase that. And then it's also super, super important that you update your beneficiary designation. As we go through this, I'm a big stickler on beneficiaries. I've had some people pass away in the past 2 years. It is vitally important that you just take 5 minutes and put whomever you want to receive your assets on those accounts. If you have a will at home, that's phenomenal. It kind of lays out your wishes. If those beneficiaries are not on your account, your beneficiary designation supersedes your will, and your family will go to probate. So take 5 minutes, make sure whomever's supposed to be on there is on there, and that you have that all updated. Being in finance, I'm very big on the 401k too. This open enrollment's not going to force you to go look at that. But if you do me a favor and just go double check it, I'd really appreciate it, okay? Okay, what do we need to consider for our medical prescription drug benefits? You guys are staying with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Worst kept secret, nothing's changing. You still have the same 2 plans, you still have the same network, you still have the same premium costs. So there's really no changes on the 2 plans you had in 2019. The Aware Network, huge global national network of Blue Cross. Basically, most of the doctors are covered in the Twin Cities here on that network and are available to you. So make sure you know which provider you're going to. In-network coverage is a lot cheaper than out-of-network premiums and deductibles. So make sure you have a nice provider that you like and that you trust that's in-network there. The 2 things that we see when you're going in for your preventive care visit. Does anyone know the amount? So you have an amount that's deducted from your paycheck every month. What does that amount pay for? So I pay $60 for my insurance each month. What do I get for my $60? Right after lunch, everyone's like, stop asking questions. Does anybody know? What do I get for $60? It's America. I paid something. What am I getting for that? It's up on the screen. I'm getting my preventive visit. So insurance, everyone's always nervous about insurance. They think about it as, if I get hit by a car, I know that I'm not going to lose my house, right? I have some sort of stop loss where I don't have to keep paying those insurance bills. That's the negative piece of insurance. The other piece of insurance that you pay for each month is to go see a doctor once a year, to go see them for your annual visit, your cancer screening, an eye exam. That's what you pay for with insurance. Too often people think, oh, if I go to the doctor, it's going to be $1,000 bill. Your preventive visits are 100% free to you. So if you're not going to use them, you're wasting money by having insurance. You basically have a critical life insurance policy. Go for your preventive visits. It can help diagnose things so you don't have a larger bill in the future. Okay? Routine services we have down there. You can see annual exam, blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, well visits for children, prenatal visits, if you're having a baby, and mammograms, things like that, cancer screening. Go see your doctor. When you call them, tell them, I'm coming for my annual visit. I'm coming for my preventive visit. That's their job, is to see you and make sure you're okay. You're paying for it on a monthly basis, so go use them. Okay, so how they differ. Here's what you have to look at when you're looking and deciding between plans. You have to look at, everyone always just stops at, how much is it going to cost me and what is the deductible amount? That's really what they do. The insurance world loves to throw out co-pays and co-insurance and out-of-pocket maximum, all these buzzwords. What it really deals with is what is your liability in the health plan? How much will you have to pay out of your paycheck? That's what those things mean. Premium contributions. People don't like to include this in their annual cost of health care. They always just look at what's the most out-of-pocket I'm going to pay, and that's your deductible. That's what do I have to reach before insurance starts kicking in. You also have to look at what am I paying out of my check each month. It's nice to see that lower deductible to say, oh, I only have to hit $1,000 before I start getting some assistance from insurance. But in order to have that, I'm also paying a little bit more out of my check. But I don't feel like I am because it just gets deducted, so I don't see it. We'll go into that in a minute. It'll be more clear. Co-pays, this is a set dollar amount that when you go to the doctor, that's how much they're going to charge you upfront for services. Co-insurance is your portion of the bill that you're responsible for. So that's 15% if you're on Plan 1 here. 15% you're responsible for. 85% the insurance company picks up. Out-of-pocket maximum, the most that you will pay for services in 1 year based on whichever plan you choose. So if you, my example before, which is kind of morbid, I should probably pick up a different one, but if I leave and get hit by a bus, what's my maximum dollar amount that I'm going to write to the insurance company? That's out-of-pocket maximum. And then the big one that we want to talk about is anyone is on prescriptions or has prescription medications for people in their family, there is a differing cost between Plan 1 and Plan 2 for those prescriptions. So you really want to understand how much those cost on a monthly basis and where you're going to find them. Is that the cheapest provider or are there other places you can go? Okay? If you turn to page 7 in your booklet, so it's the biggest booklet you have, and very appropriately, there's no page numbers on that, but if you look at the page before, it says, and I meant 10, page 10. So if you look right after page 9, page 10 is a list of the 2 plans you have available to you. Okay? It's going to be easier than following along up here. I mentioned
for those of us online, which booklet is it? The guide, 2020 OE guide, open enrollment, or Vision 5, the 2020 OE guide?
OE guide, yep, open enrollment guide.
Okay, thank you.
Page 10. Sorry, I know I said 8 originally. I meant page 10. Mine's on page 10. Yours is on 8? Cool, I have a different guide. Never mind. I'm looking at page 8 or 10 if you use my booklet. Either or, it's fine. Okay, pull up the page that looks the same. I think we might have 2 different booklets rolling around, so we'll double check that. But so if you pull up that page and you can see the 2 different plans you can choose from, they are the same as last year. And I'm gonna go through each one of them, and I'm gonna talk about the one in the middle first. So the first plan, the $1,000 deductible plan. How this plan works is you pay a little bit more out of your paycheck each month, but your deductible is lower. The amount you have to hit out of pocket is lower until insurance starts kicking in. That's the $1,000 deductible. The other one, the high deductible plan, this is accompanied with an HSA, so a health savings account. I pay a little bit less out of my check each month, but I have a higher deductible that I have to hit before insurance kicks in. So Plan 1, pay a little bit more up front, lower deductible. Plan 2, pay a little bit, did I say lower on the other one? A little bit higher each month, lower deductible. Higher or lower per month payment, higher out-of-pocket costs until insurance fully kicks in. The difference between the 2, the first one, this is kind of your traditional insurance. I go to the doctor, I have a copay, I get a smaller bill when I leave, preferred provider option, traditional insurance that's been around for 20 years. That's Plan 1. This is our high deductible health plan. This is kind of the new rage that everyone talks about, account, health savings account. That's Plan 2, where I'm responsible for 100% of the cost until I reach the deductible amount. When we were talking about out-of-pocket maximums, you'll see that's the 3rd column down here. That is the price that if something major happens to me, what is my stop at? Where do my bills stop? Using my example again, if I leave here and get hit by a bus, which plan is actually cheaper for me to be on as an individual? Which plan will I actually pay less out of pocket? Nope. The HSA, the high deductible plan, so plan 2. I'm going to pay less out of pocket because I see my out-of-pocket max on plan 1 is $3,500 versus plan 2 is $1,000. If something happens to me, I stop at $3,000 versus plan 1 at $3,500. If you know you have a planned surgery or someone in your family is having a major medical expense, it may be better to be on plan 2 because your stop loss is lower. I pay $3,000 versus $3,500. Your plan is also embedded, meaning if I choose family coverage and my deductible is now $2,000 or $8,000, if I'm one person and again I go and leave and get hit by a bus, my individual payment is only $3,000 or $3,500, not the whole family premium. One person can only reach the individual out-of-pocket max. They don't reach the whole deductible themselves. So they don't reach that whole $8,000 by themselves. So if there's one person in your family that has, scheduled surgeries or a lot of expenses each year and you're hitting that out-of-pocket max, it may be better for you to be on plan 2. If you're someone that has a lot of prescription drugs or your family members have a lot of prescription drugs, it may be better to be on plan 1 because you can see under prescription coverage, you just do co-pays and co-insurance. You don't pay the full cost of that medication. About 90% of you guys are on generic medication, meaning it's a generic brand. It's not a premium or it's not a name brand, preferred brand prescription. On either plan, the cost of that medication is probably going to be the same. So you can see on plan 1 you have a $15 copay. It's probably going to be $15 on plan 2 if it's that generic brand medication. If it's not, if you're getting some specialty drugs, it may be more beneficial for you to be on plan 1 if those are really a high monthly cost because there's a stop on plan 1. For the high deductible plan, if you are on some preventive medications like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, thyroid, diabetes, any of those types of things, and there's a preventive list we can show you, those are covered at 100% on plan 2. So the high deductible plan covers those at 100%. Because they say that they're preventative, you need them. When we look at the difference between the two plans, you can see we have different types of services on the far left-hand side. Those services show you how much you would pay out of pocket for those specific things. You can see an office visit is only a $5 copay on plan 1. Primary office visit is a $40 copay on plan 1. On plan 2, you're going to pay that whole deductible, that whole cost of the visit, until you've reached your deductible. So those are some of the things people like to look at before they're deciding between the plans. When we talk about the cost, I told you, we need to not only look at how much do I have to hit or how much do I have to pay with my deductible, but we also have to look at how much is this insurance going to cost me per month or a per pay period amount. You can see the two different plans here. We have a per pay period and a monthly amount. I said it before. Plan 1, or the $1,000 deductible copay plan, that one's a little bit more expensive each month because I only have those copays when I go to the doctor or I go see a specialist. I just have a copay. Versus plan 2, you can see it's a bit cheaper, but I'm responsible for 100% of that deductible until my insurance kicks in. When you're evaluating between the two plans, here at Multi-Tech, if your spouse is offered coverage, they should take that coverage through their employer. If not, you're looking at this and picking which tier you're going to be in, whether that be employee only, employee plus spouse, or family. Depends on who you need to cover. When you go through, if you need to cover someone, it's pretty self-explanatory. It will automatically select which tier you need to be on, depending on how many dependents you put in there. Something to think about for those, I talked about people that have children that may have coverage elsewhere, but they're still eligible to be on your plan because they're 26 years or younger. If we look at the difference between employee only plus employee plus one, there's a big difference monthly amount that you're paying between those two options. So it's great that you want to keep a child on or you just want to help them out a little bit, but it may be more beneficial for you just to pay their premium amount at their employer versus doing employee plus one here, because the difference in cost is about $150 on plan one and about $130 on plan two. So if they can get employee coverage at an employer and get off your plan, it might be beneficial for you. It might actually save you money, even if you want to help them and pay their premium at their employer. Employee only will always be the cheapest option to have, will always be the cheapest premium amount on a monthly basis. When we talk about the two plans, there's also different things associated with them. With the copay plan, so plan one, you get what's called an FSA, a flexible spending account. This is the traditional use it or lose it. I put money in, I decide now how much I want in there on January 1st, and then I can use that money throughout the year to pay for my medical expenses. It's tax deductible to me, so if I put $2,000 into the flexible spending account, my income, if I make $30,000 a year, put $2,000 in, my income goes from $30,000 to $28,000. I don't pay tax on the money I put into my FSA. When I say it's use it or lose it, it means if I don't use all $2,000 of that money I put in there, I will lose it. I will lose anything over $500 because it will not roll into the next year. Only $500 can roll into 2021. So if I get to December 31st and I have a $1,000 balance, that's too bad. Only $500 is going to roll over into the next year. Go to the insurance company and they throw a party in your honor. Right. Seems right. I think they should write me a check, but no, definitely not. Have you ever called the insurance company? They're not going to give you their real number. Just kidding. Okay. Flip side. So FSA, use it or lose it, traditional insurance. High deductible plan. I am offered what is called a health savings account with this plan. Health savings account, big difference. Flexible spending in plan one, health savings, spend versus save. In a health savings account, I can put $2,000 in. It's tax deductible to me, but let's say that I decide I want to put $2,000 in, but this accrues throughout the year. If I decide in June I don't want to put all $2,000 in, I can stop my payment to that and say, nope, I actually want to stop at 1,000, or I don't want to do it, or I want to increase it. I have a large medical bill coming up, I want to put more money in. More flexibility on this one because it accrues through the year. Then, with the health savings, if I don't use all of that money, I can roll that from year to year. It's always my money. So if I put $2,000 in and it accrues throughout the year and I still have it there on December 31st, no problem. It's going to roll into 2021. It's always your money. If you leave multi-tech, you get to take it with you. You'll still have an account. Yep.
Now, will it let you go over? Is there a penalty for going over 2,000? After you get 2,000?
So the question for people on the phone was, will the HSA let you go over 2,000? Yes, the limit for 2020 is $3,550 for an individual, $7,100 for a family. So, difference between those two plans. You have different, I call them add-ons available to you. Here's what I want you to think about. I told you before, I'm in finance, so when I think about employee benefits, I think about it as a financial choice. I can't do math in front of this large group of people. It just is too nerve-wracking because I know someone's doing it on their piece of paper. They're going to have the right number. If I take these monthly amounts and I annualize them, So I say, how much am I going to spend per year on insurance? You'll see right here, I've done that. So when I'm an employee only on Plan 1, I have spent $1,894 just for the price of insurance to go to my preventive visit. You can't say it more times. Go to your preventive visit. You're already paying for them. On the flip side, if I'm on the high deductible plan, I will have only spent $1,242 for a difference of $652 per year. So yes, I have a higher deductible that I need to meet out of pocket before insurance kicks in, but I also get a little bit of a reprieve saving between the annual premium. As I go from employee only to employee plus one and to family, that difference becomes a lot larger and becomes a lot more savings if I don't go to the doctor all that often. In addition to the difference in the annual cost of it, Multi-Tech also puts in a contribution into your HSA. They say you have to reach a higher premium amount from $1,000 to $3,000. We're going to help you out. We're going to give you a little boost to pay for some of those medical bills should something happen. You do not need to contribute for this money to go into your account. That is a contribution that you're going to get from Multi-Tech that goes in per quarter. If I take my HSA contribution from the company plus the difference and I save that amount, that's how much I can have in my HSA to help me get closer to that premium to not have as many out-of-pocket costs if need be. I do not care which plan you pick. I truly don't, but this is the math behind it. Where people get in trouble and why people don't like high deductible plans is because they say, if something happens, I owe that whole $3,000. Absolutely, you will owe that money. But what they don't do is take the difference that I'm going to save, so either $650, $1,300, or $1,900. When they see this difference, what do? You get more take-home money. Are you going to go save it in your HSA? Super exciting. No, you're going to take it and say, I got a raise. I'm throwing a party. You can come over. Only my friends. Right? You say, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to use it. I just got a raise. What you need to do is if you're deciding between Plan 1 and Plan 2 and you're going to switch, you need to take this annual difference and automatically put it in the HSA to help you reach that deductible should something happen. People don't do that. They take the money into their bank account and they spend it. And then something happens to them and they go to Mackenzie and they go to Katie and say, the HSA is awful, I had a $3,000 bill. That's what happens. It can be beneficial if you do this. You're no different off if you switch from Plan 1 to go to Plan 2 if you save that money. You spent the same amount of money before any bills come out. You spent the same. Because if you were on Plan 1, I know that you were already spending $1,894 on insurance. All I'm doing is rearranging where it goes to help you build a little bit of a safety net if something were to happen to you and you get a medical bill. I don't care which plan you pick. You're going to pick whichever one you want, but that's the math behind it. So if I come up to you and ask, which plan are you choosing? You could definitely say to me, Plan 1, because I'm on a prescription that costs me $500 a month. Done. Perfect. That's wonderful. If I come up to you and you say, I don't know, I'm just comfortable on this one because I've done it for years, I'm probably going to ask you to chat with me. And that's probably the worst thing, right? Okay, questions on that? Yep.
I have a question from just a little bit ago.
Yep.
On page 3, it mentioned for the FSA, there's no longer a grace period. So does that mean $500 rollover can be used at any time during 2020?
The grace period on, so the question for people on the phone was, there's no longer a grace period on the FSA. I believe it can be used now at any time throughout 2020. The grace period also had to do with when you submitted your receipts. So you need to, if you have bills for 2019, those need to be submitted before the end of the year or the first week thereafter. Does that make sense? kind of, so let's say you have a bill that you went to the doctor on the 27th, you need to submit that bill in a timely manner to use your FSA for it to count to 2019. Make sense? Mhm. Yeah, it's as soon as feasibly possible to get the bill, as soon as they process it. March 30th.
But otherwise, if you don't use the 500, that's all wrong. It's still sometime during 2020.
Yep. Yep. That's what some people do too. If they're not above the $500 rollover, they'll just use that $500 then on an expense they incur in 2020. So they don't have to go back. Other questions? Okay, how do I select the right plan? You have to look at your medical history. Think about what you did in 2019. Go back and look at your bills that you've incurred so far. Every bill you get from the insurance company will say total cost of the bill, your portion owed. Look at those differences. If they're the same amount, you're probably on the high deductible plan. If they're differing amounts, then you're probably on plan 1. Go see what expenses you've incurred and look at that total cost. So you can look and say, okay, did it make more sense for me to be on plan 1, or would it make more sense for me to be on plan 2, depending on how much you spend. If you are on a lot of prescriptions, like I said, plan 1 may be better if those are specialty drugs or preferred brand drugs. Those may be more beneficial for you to be on because it's just a copay. When you're looking at this too, if you're, yep.
So going off mechanics of it, suppose I had like I was in a high deductible plan. I had a health savings account. I say like had $500 accrued in there. Go to the ER, $1,500 bill. That's gonna come to me. Do I give that bill to like Multitech, or do I give it to the insurance company?
It'll go to the HSA. So if you want the
Straight from the provider then?
So it comes from the provider, and then if you want to use your HSA. So the question was how the logistics of getting a bill and using my HSA, basically, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to get a bill from them. If you want to use your HSA to pay for it, 2 options. If you get the bill in the doctor's office, you can use your debit card that you have for your HSA. If you get a bill after the fact, you can then either, 1, set up a payment plan from your HSA if it's more than what you have in there. So if your bill's more than what's in your HSA account, but you know it's going to build up over time. Insurance companies love to set up payment plans with you because they want your money. They would much rather set up a payment plan than go to collections for it. You'll set up that payment plan, the provider and the HSA company will work together, and then it will just be an automatic payment. You do have to have the money in your HSA account to use that debit card though. So if you have $500 in there and the bill's $1,500, it's going to be declined. You'll just basically have to go back and either reimburse yourself or set up the payment plan through the HSA. Nope, it won't take out part of it. It will have you basically pay the bill in full and then reimburse yourself, or you set up a monthly payment where you're still putting money into the HSA. It's just automatically coming out and going to pay the bill. It's a roundabout way, but it's just a big circle of saving on taxes.
I guess I'm just concerned that like somehow I would wind up with like a medical bill that I put out of pocket, and then I still get to the end of the year and there's like $300 left, and I'm just like, oh, that money just could have been used, but it didn't because of mechanical or legislative reasons.
You can still reimburse yourself. So if you
just take the money out.
Yeah, so you basically say, okay, I paid $300 out of pocket. I now want $300, and that's still a tax-free distribution to you.
But if you just leave that money in there, it'll just carry over to the next year.
Mm-hmm.
What was the max fee in there?
The maximum you can contribute is $3,550 or $7,100 for a family. Your balance that you can keep in there is infinite.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's an infinite balance. FSA, you have to use. FSA, flex spending, you have to use the year in which you put it in. Health savings, realistically, I've been on an HSA for 6 years. I pay my medical bills out of my cash flow. So I just leave the money that my company puts in there year to year. But every time I pay a bill, I write the date I paid and I keep the receipt. Since I did that, I now have, let's call it $1,000 of medical receipts. If I next week, and I'm not encouraging anyone to do this, but I next week want to go on a trip and I want that $1,000 tax-free, I just call my HSA provider or go online and say, process a $1,000 distribution to me, and here's the receipts to prove it. I get $1,000 tax-free to use whatever I want because I've already spent $1,000 out of pocket on it. The bills that you incur don't have to, when you take out the money, it doesn't have to be in the year in which you incurred that bill. So as long as you have an HSA or a high deductible health plan, you can keep your receipts and keep the money in there. And then 3 years down the road, if you want to take all of that and you have the bills to prove it, you can take out as much as you want tax-free. Well, the bill amount. Other questions on that? Yep. No. Should never lose the document. Your recourse is to go back to the, so the question was, what if you lose that documentation? What's the solve for that to take the money out? Basically, you'll have to go back to the providers and get receipts for those bills. Here's what I'm also going to tell you. The auditing of this happens by the IRS. So the IRS says, hey, I took a distribution from my HSA account. I have the tax form. I give it to my accountant. He puts this all in. The only way I technically have to show those receipts is if I'm audited by the IRS, and they can look back 7 years. So there's a chance that they say, nope, we don't want to see them. Or there's a chance that says, you're audited, show us the receipts to prove this. It's just kind of an extra legwork of going back to the provider saying, can I have a receipt for what I did? Me personally, when I pay those bills, I keep not only the actual receipt, but I make a copy of that. I put it in electronic form on my work computer, and I have a physical copy at my house. You just kind of have to be diligent and save it multiple places. I only save the actual receipt and the date paid. I don't save the explanation of benefits. Yep. Okay, when I decide between the different plans, you have to understand what coverage is also available between you and your spouse, what coverage is available elsewhere, and which plan is going to work better for your family. There's nothing that stops you from coordinating benefits with your spouse. So if they have a plan offered to them, they should take that. But if you can go on their plan and it's better, there's nothing that stops you from doing that either. But make sure you know who should be covered and what your and the different services that you need. Okay, when we look at how these benefits, the costs and the comparison between them, we are always looking at how do they compare in the market. I tell you to go speak with your spouse, say, look at their benefits, look at ours, see what, is the better plan for you. Multi-Tech has stayed really true to keeping these deductibles at an affordable price for you, at an affordable rate. And we've seen, honestly, between the PPO plan and the high deductible, these deductibles really increase on a national average, and Multi-Tech has stayed very, very strong in the fact that they want to keep these lower. Because of that, we're also very competitive on the premium amount, so the amount that comes out of your paycheck. So when you're comparing this, you also have to look at deductible and the amount out of your pay, because your spouse's plan may be great, may have a $500 deductible, but what are you paying for that amount out of pocket? It's important to look at that and how they compare to make sure you're making the best choice for you and your family. HSA, we kind of...
I have a question on that. Can you go back to that slide?
Yes.
So you've got single and family, and then out of pocket, is the employee plus one always family?
So no, actually employee plus one is going to be the max individual out of pocket. So when we look at this, if you see so under out-of-pocket max, 3,500, if you're only employee only, that would be 3,500 for the first family member, 3,500 for the other one, for a total of 7,000 on that. The deductibles are still the same, so you'd be under the family coverage for both plans, but the max out-of-pocket would cap itself at 7,000 and 6,000 on the high deductible plan.
Okay,
Does that answer your question?
I think so. How come you don't just put employee plus one up on the other charts to make it really
Trust me,
easy to
I have
see?
that in my notes. I didn't make the PowerPoint.
Okay, Thank you.
We'll add that for next year.
thank you.
Other questions?
Correct one, the one on there, or the one on my booklet. My booklet here shows like $8,000 for.
Yep, this is national average, this is multi-tax plan. So the one in your booklet's correct. This is just comparing of what's out there in the market. So the other numbers are not actually in your booklet. Okay, HSA, I told you the limits for 2020, they've increased slightly. When we talk about HSA, these accounts have not been around as long as the traditional flex spending and the PPO plans. Therefore, people always say, you know, we're really harping on the HSA. I don't care if you pick an HSA or an FSA. I really don't. It's just that people don't understand how a health savings account works because it's so different from traditional insurance. So we want to make sure you're understanding, if you're picking that plan, what you can do with that and what happens to it once you leave multi-tax. The HSA is always your account. So if you leave next week, you will still have an HSA account if you have a balance in it. It's portable, meaning it can be transferred from place to place without any tax liability as long as it stays under the HSA umbrella. You can invest this money, so if you've been on the HSA for the past couple of years and you now have a nice little balance built up in there, if you want to go invest that in mutual funds, you can absolutely do so. Right now it's in a money market account, so it's earning basically what your savings account earns, which is not exciting, I know. Probably less than 1%.
Is there a minimum for investing?
Yes, I believe you have to be over $1,000. Yes, you have to be over $1,000 in there. Here's what I'll also say: if you're just getting to that $1,000 point, I always encourage people to at least save what their deductible would be. So if something happens to you and you have the HSA account, the individual deductible is $3,000. You can invest anything above $1,000. And that's wonderful. When you invest this, it's invested in the market. So it's going to go up and down just like your 401k account. If you don't have the cash to cover the other $2,000 of expenses that would happen if you had a major medical expense, I would keep that in cash before you invest it, because let's say something happens to you and the market also goes down. That money will also go down. You don't get to take the amount you put in. It's invested just like the 401k. So keep the amount in cash that you need to pay that deductible amount. As I told you before, if you're using the HSA similar to the FSA, you can take money out of this at any time if you have the bill. It's tax-free to you. So I put it in tax-free. I can grow it tax-free. I don't pay taxes on anything that it grows to, and I can take it out tax-free as long as I have qualified medical expenses. If I don't have qualified medical expenses, I will pay tax on the money and a penalty for taking it out. If I get to age 65 and I still have an HSA account, the penalty drops off, and I could take the money out and use it for whatever I want, but it'll be treated tax-wise as a 401k. So it'll be treated, you'll pay income tax on the money you take out. If you have this into retirement and continue using it for qualified medical expenses, it's completely tax-free to you. Yep.
So once you get retirement, you don't need the receipts.
You don't technically, you'll be taxed on it. So the question was, once you get retirement, you don't need the receipts to take the money. No, you don't have the penalty for taking it out, but if you don't have medical receipts, you're going to pay tax. It's going to be income tax on it.
Then what about the the amount that's above, you know, like if it was invested, then whatever, I mean, you won't have receipts for any growth in your assets.
Yep,
So then you're gonna get taxed on it.
no, growth is tax-free. Growth, well, the receipts, you're not gonna have, the growth of it, if you're taking the money out, you're saying, I want $3,000. They don't care if it was growth or if it was, money you put in. It's just, for the bill that you had, you take out that same amount of money. They don't care if it grew to more or what, it's just that the dollar amounts match. Okay.
If you put in 7,000, but each year you only use 1,000, I mean, you're not gonna have receipts on the 6,000 each year.
Yep.
So then you have to say $60,000, and you have to start taking it out after 65 or 67.
You don't have to take it out at 65. It'll stay in an HSA.
Right, but I mean, if you get to a point, you're like, I just want to start taking money out. Okay, so you're saying.
Then you use it for your medical bills. Realistically, once people get to 65 or 67, you're probably going to be on medication. You're probably, if you're on Medicare, you can use it to pay your Medigap premium. You can use it for those different things. So basically, it's like a 401k, but for healthcare purposes. Make sense? So basically, you're pre-saving for some of your expenses. They don't care what you take it out for as long as it's qualified medical. You can have it for more years than you put into it. Nope, they don't force you to start taking money out. If you pass away with a balance, your spouse will take over the HSA and it's there. They'll use it the exact same way. If you both pass away, it then goes to your beneficiaries on file as a taxable asset. So then at that point, your children will pay taxes on it when it comes out. But it's still their money. So you never lose it. Other questions? Yep.
What is the differences between the calendar year deductible and medical out-of-pocket maximum? So when is the insurance actually kicked in and pays 100%?
Yep. So the question was, what's the difference between the calendar year deductible and the calendar year out-of-pocket? The difference is on plan one, that $1,000, you pay that out of pocket. Now, once you start going to the doctor more after that $1,000, you're going to pay 15% coinsurance or copays to do those things. That's what builds up to the next $3,500. So insurance doesn't fully kick in after you reach 1,000. You're still going to be responsible for 15% after you've hit your deductible. And then on the high deductible plan, those premiums, those deductibles are the same, so you're not going to be, you pay out of pocket till you hit that deductible.
What's the out-of-pocket maximum? 3,500. What is that? When you reach that $3,500,
then they pay 100%. So that's the point you have to reach before they kick in 100%.
So if you pay up to $1,000 for deductible, you still have to pay the 15% for the core insurance.
Yep.
When you reach up to the $3,500 or past $3,500, then they will pay full 100% right after that.
Correct. Yep. So once you reach 3,500, then it's 100% coverage. From 1,000 to 35, it's 15% coinsurance.
So that if they apply for a family, it will pay $8,000 for
Yep.
both plans.
Yep. Yep. For a family, it's $8,000 for both plans.
That's individual, right?
Yep. So it's individual. So one person can only reach 3,000 or 3,500. But as a family, for your bills to be 100% covered for a family, you have to reach 8,000. So let's say I leave and I'm a family of 2, and I leave and I go get hit by a bus. I only have to pay 3,500 or 3,000, but my spouse will also have to pay 3,500 and 3,000 for his bills to be 100% covered as well.
Each person has to reach $3,500 in order to pay 100% for that
person.
Not the other.
Correct. Yep. Okay, we're gonna go into this. You guys do have a mobile app, and I'm being long-winded, so I'm gonna pick it up here. Your mobile app, you do have on the Blue Cross Blue Shield, you can do a mobile app and download that on your phone, or you can go online. The mobile app has, and I'm gonna say the wrong name of it, but it has the Share Care Fitness discount. So this is for all employees. If you go on here and you're getting your steps in, you're doing your daily routines, you do get discounts for that. It's basically your wellness app that you can access on your phone. You can also connect, you have a fitness tracker on there for some additional fitness discounts. The other piece, so here's where to go for care. We have Doctor on Demand, which tends to be the cheapest amount, all the way up to emergency room visits. These are different costs, so depending on where you go for care, it's going to cost a different amount. We want you to be aware when you go into the doctor, go to urgent care, there's a different cost of that versus an office visit or an online visit. So make sure you're finding, some of those common illnesses like Doctor on Demand are really good for. Pink eye, flu, strep throat, things like that. Really cheap on Doctor on Demand, more expensive when we go to an office visit. OMADA, this is your prevention program. Basically, has anybody participated in OMADA? So it basically puts you in touch with a health coach and support and guidance to help you get rid of or help curb some heart disease, cardiovascular disease, things like that. They send you a scale. You step on that every morning and it's automatically sent to your health coach. Then you talk about different things that you can do to help improve your fitness or help improve your daily lifestyle. Really good app. It's really helpful if this is something you're interested in. It's a really great tool and network to connect you with to help you get over some of these or give you research and tools to help better your physical life. Pharmacy benefits. When you're looking at different pharmacies, don't forget to shop around. Pharmacies are different charges for each pharmacy charges a different amount for the same type of medication. It's not right, but that's kind of how it rolls. So when you're searching for these, using FlexRx or GoodRx or even manufacturer discounts is a really nice way to help you get some of those savings. Dental plan, there are no changes to the dental plan. One thing to note with this, when you go to the dentist, if you are doing family medical coverage, let's say you're doing employee only, you can do family dental. It does, just because you're not choosing family on the medical doesn't mean that you can't choose family on dental. So look at those plans with your spouse, decide which plan is better for you. You can see the monthly amounts and per pay period. We will say if you go to a Delta Dental Premier or a PPO doctor, there are some discounts that can be had. If you go on Delta Dental's website, you'll see which dentist yours falls under. And you can maybe access some of those discounts. One thing we do want to say, there is a per year amount, so maximum that you can use of this of $1,500 per person. So if you're having a crown or a couple of crowns and implants or whatever it may be, this insurance will stop after you reach that $1,500. Your cleanings are included in that, so there's an annual limit on that. Questions on the dental plan? Vision, this is the new voluntary vision plan. So again, if you are family medical here, you do not have to do family vision if only one of you wears glasses. You can sign up for different tiers of this. This is through Blue Cross Blue Shield. If you're only going for a vision or an eye exam each year, you don't need to sign up for the vision insurance. That's covered under the medical plan. This is through Blue Cross Blue Shield, but it's a completely separate plan from the health plan, from the medical plan. So there are discounts for contacts and lenses, warranty scratch things. There's different discounts that are afforded to you. It basically allows you an allowance to purchase contacts or glasses. So if you're trying to find which which vision doctor or eye doctor is in network, or if you have one you go to their website at bluecrossmn.com and find an eye doctor. You can see if your doctor accepts this insurance, and then go to them and get those discounts there. Questions on the vision? This This is a voluntary benefit, so you don't have to sign up for this if you don't need glasses. Flexible spending, we talked about the flex spending. There's also a dependent care flexible spending account, so if your child is in daycare or child care, you can put up to $5,000 into that pre-tax, and then reimburse yourself throughout the year. It's $5,000 per family, so one tax return is $5,000. If you're gonna switch from Plan A to Plan B or from Plan 1 to Plan 2, and you still have FSA dollars left from Plan 1, those will automatically go into a limited purpose FSA. What that is it is a limited FSA, meaning you can only use it on dental and vision. You no longer can use that for medical. So something to note there, if you're switching plans, that FSA money that rolls over can only be used for dental and vision. HSA can still be used for any of that. Group and life, multi-tech does provide basic life accidental death and dismemberment, short and long-term disability. If you need additional insurance for you and your family, now is the time to sign up. If you've declined coverage in the past, you will have to show evidence of insurability on there. So make sure when you're going through this, if you want to do increases to that, you fill out that form. It's not going to take away, if they don't approve you, they're not going to take away what you already have. They just won't give you more. So want to go look at that. 401k plan, I talked about it before if you've come to any of the quarterly ones I do, but the 401k, it's very important you go check your beneficiaries on there. Also take a look at what your allocation has been. If you put in 6% of your pay, you are going to get 4% from the company. That's free money, free. It's like a raise you can use later. It's free money to you, it goes into the account and will be invested into your choices. We have been on a very long bull run in the market, meaning the stock market has gone up. If you need this money in the short term, you're retiring soon, or you're going to take some out, or you just, you've hit that 59.5 and want some of it, make sure you check your allocations, because we are going to see more volatility as the year goes on. So make sure you know your risk tolerance in that account. What do you need to do before open enrollment ends? You need to go sign up for your benefits. Review the information, understand what you're signing up for, and make sure that you're enrolled in all the benefits that you need. What questions do you guys have before Mackenzie and Katie show you the online tool? Yep. So he's holding up their summary plan descriptions. Yep.
On the last page, it shows plans overall deductible is $750. That should be $1,000.
Which plan are you looking at?
On the back, those are just,
It's just an example.
This is
Yeah.
just an example. So they don't stop. These are examples for everybody on a PPO plan. They just put in the deductible amount.
But for us, we put in $1,000.
Well, you
yeah,
wouldn't you would put in 1,000, but then you're out of pocket max.
yeah. So these aren't like customized to people's plans. This is all through the Obamacare administration. So these, like, every company has this exact same example. So the amounts on the front are.
Yeah. What you really have to look at is deductibles and copays. When you go down to the amount you owe, that would stop at whatever your out-of-pocket max is.
Yeah.
So it does, yeah.
It's the same packet. You'll see at every company.
Yeah.
But the first pages are all our plan. So, okay, I'm gonna just show you guys how to enroll in benefits.
So last year we changed everything from the paper form to everything being online. So this shouldn't be new to anyone, but I know it's been maybe a full year since you maybe have been enrolled in benefits if you didn't have a life event. So when you're within your CBIZ site, which you should be going in there frequently, look at your pay stubs, PTO balances, tax stuff, but if you're not within your home page, on the main screen starting today now, you'll see this event status, open enrollment, and then you just click begin events. And it'll bring you into this first tab, which is just the instructions tab. And then really hard to read for me, but this is just kind of all the declarations saying, hey, if your spouse has insurance, you can't add them onto our plan. One time a year you can make any changes or add anyone unless you have qualifying events, just kind of that disclaimer. The second one is just reviewing all your personal information. We do that because people move throughout the year and maybe you don't think right away like, oh, I should go update, all my benefit vendors and payroll and things like that. So we disclose to all the benefit vendors. So if your address is in here, it'll be there in Blue Cross and Fidelity and so forth. So it's just good to know that we have the most up-to-date contact information for you. So it's good to hit save and continue. Then it brings you into your dependents. So anyone you want to add onto the plan or be covered by insurance, make sure they're under here. If you see someone on here that you're like a child that you don't, or a spouse that you don't need covered anymore, if you need to delete someone, just ask me, Kimberly, you guys can't delete them. I do say just keep them on there. Just because they're listed here doesn't necessarily have to mean you have to select coverage for them, because if they had something happen next year, then you don't have to go relook their social security numbers and date of birth. But it's your information. If you want it in there, keep it. If you don't, we can delete it. If it looks good, click save and continue. And then this is the actual benefit enrollment screen. So we made it really easy this year because there weren't any changes. We just took whatever you have today and we automatically rolled it all over into 2020. We just asked for, rather than us assuming that you want to stay everything the same, that you still go through the event. So the first one will be medical. So you'll see this example. She had the HSA plan, employee plus one, and then the dependents are at the very bottom. So if you are employee plus one and you want to go back to employee only, just select employee only and make sure you unselect the dependent. The event is smart enough to know that if you have one dependent listed, the only options are going to be employee and employee plus one. If you have no dependents, it's only the employee. So it's kind of, pretty user friendly. And then save and continue. The next one's dental plan, same thing. And then this right or left hand corner is kind of like online shopping. It kind of tells you how much you spend, how much will come out of your paycheck. So that's just a nice thing. And the other one you have to do is vision. I made everyone default to waive just because it's brand new, but if you want to elect it, just make sure you elect the proper coverage and dependents. The ones you have to do again, which I didn't carry information over because it is just the rules to make sure that you're actively going in and re-enrolling an FSA dependent care at HSA. So this is for the HSA. If you pick the copay plan, the only option that would be available would be ineligible, so you wouldn't have to do anything, but you'll enter in the annual amount that you want. And again, it's smart enough to know, hey, I'm under 55, it's just me, to make sure that you don't go over the IRS limits. McKinsey and I audit it as well, but keep into consideration for HSA the multi-tax money, the limit based on whatever category you fall in, employee plus one. If your spouse is on an HSA and their employer gives HSA dollars, so all of that combined is the IRS limit. So we won't obviously know if your spouse is on another plan for HSA plan, so keep that in mind.
If you pick FSA, or CPO, will the FSA be there next one?
Yep.
Okay.
And the FSA is still there, the second one after the HSA.
Does that have what we had last year then?
No, because you have to actively go put that in there every year.
Because those are yearly limits, they want you to decide, they want you to make an active choice of how much you want to put in. Yeah. More like
I'll show you next year, you can look that up. Then it brings me to FSA. This is smart enough too. If you were enrolled in the HSA, it automatically turns it into a limited FSA. So because the sample is in the HSA, that's why it says limited. Save and continue, and then dependent care is the last one.
Dependent care, make sure you have they file taxes as a child care provider, that they're getting income from that. I once had somebody ask me, my mother-in-law does it, can I get a tax refund for that? No, it's a reimbursement, you have to pay, it's a real tax entity you're paying.
The next tab is just your emergency contacts, another good thing to look at and update. If there's any updates, let's click save and continue. So general information tab just tells you that you'll notice none of the Sun Life products are in here, and Fidelity. Fidelity doesn't like employers to put their Fidelity stuff in their benefit admin system. They want you to go to Fidelity site and do it. So that just tells you have to go to Fidelity if you want to increase your 401k election. Some Life's its own beast, so that's my goal for 2020 is to get that in here. But for now, you just have to fill out a paper form, but if you don't have to do anything with Sun Life if you don't want to make any changes. And you can make changes at any time, not just during open enrollment. And then last but not least is just the final review. So there's a bunch of documents up here for all the 2020 stuff that's in your packets if you want to view it at home or with this out for someone else. And then everything at the bottom is the last, hey, this is what you selected for 2020. Does it look good? How much is going to come out of your paycheck the first payroll in January? And then the last one's just the final, yes, I confirm this is what I want to do and submit. It'll come to McKinsey and I, and we will either approve or deny. The only reason we'd ever deny it is more you're adding dependent that hasn't been on our plan before, and we just need proof of relationship. So we'll probably just send you a note like, hey, can you give us like marriage certificate, birth certificate? Once we get that, then we'll approve it. To see where you're at, see what are your 3 bars up in Stevens, go to benefit statement. There should be one, can't really read it, but the 2019 benefit statement, it'll tell you what you're putting in for all your benefits.
When you go through, think about it this weekend, decide which ones you're going to be on, what you want to do. Do it beforehand if you are adding someone new to the plan or anything like that. If there's a possibility that they need extra documentation, do it next week. Something back from our office is going to be on site to answer any questions if you guys have additional questions about the plan. But do it before the last date, because something inevitably will happen where you're locked out or you don't remember the password or something like that.
All right. And then all the stuff I just went over in CBIZ, there's step-by-step screenshot guide in there too, if you want to try it at home first. All right, that's all.
We'll be around for questions.
All right, bye people on the phone.
Yes.